Right now in this episode, we're going to be talking about defensiveness. So, what is defensiveness? Well, we all pretty much have a good understanding of what that word means generally, but when we dig in our heels because we've been falsely accused or even accurately accused of something unhealthy, we can get defensive. It's a natural inclination. So if that weren't true, people would brush their teeth more often after being shamed by a dentist. Or if it were true, people would lower their cholesterol after an alarming blood panel coming back from the doctor's office or the lab. If it were true, I wouldn't consume sugar and fat simultaneously as often as I step onto the scale. Okay, so the point here is that it feels terrible to have our terribleness pointed out to us. And the instinct to defend and even ignore our unhealthy behaviors is just human. When it comes to unhealthy communication between partners, the instinct of defensiveness is too often indulged, where it really doesn't have to be. I mean, look, we all bury our heads in the sand at some point, and when someone else comes along and yanks it out, we scramble like a pile of cockroaches under a bright beam of a flashlight, right? So what do you do if you've been called out for something? Think about it for a second. What do you do when you're called out? What is your most common reaction to bosses, coworkers, maybe even friends, or even strangers when you get called out by them? You might have a knack for defensiveness in some of those circumstances, right? Maybe in particular contexts, you're more prone to being defensive. Some of those contexts for me include driving in the car, learning something new, job performance, and eating habits, actually. Right? All of which overlap onto my relationship at times. So you might relate and you might have completely different cues that kind of trigger you to get defensive. And we all have them. We all do. In Gottman literature, we define defensiveness as one of the four horsemen. And it stands out as an inability to take in positive feedback, okay? Positive requests, or at some point, our partner's emotional pain. Overt examples include, I didn't do that. Oh yeah, well, but you don't notice when I do that. Or that's not what I remember, that's what you remember. Subtle examples include moving to a self-narrative before recapping and offering empathy to your partner, maybe changing the subject too soon, maybe even launching a counter-critique or a counterpoint, like if you were in some sort of debate. Is that what you want to be in, is a debate with your partner? No. Defensiveness as a behavior erodes a relationship's ability to maintain a system of vulnerable, accountable interactions. Okay? It dismisses our partner's hurt and diminishes our partner's confidence, and actually diminishes their respect in us. When we are defensive, our partners very often lose respect for us. Okay? They learn we can't take feedback, or we can't be accountable. Think about your own triggers, your own cues, the contexts in which you are more prone to defensiveness. When do you scramble like a cockroach rather than showing up with dignity and openness?